California Heartland is made possible by the James G. Boswell Foundation, committed to sharing the stories and successes of California growers. Bank of America, Bank of Opportunity.
Funding provided in part by the California Farm Bureau Federation, proud publishers of California Country magazine. More information is available at californiacountry.org. And by the Almond Board of California. California almonds, loved around the world, grown in California's heartland. And by Real California Milk. This seal ensures your favorite dairy brands are made exclusively with Real California Milk. More information at realcaliforniamilk.com.
On the next California Heartland.
I don't like fighting an invisible enemy. I don't mind a fair fight, but it gets depressing when you don't know what to do to make them healthy.
Beekeepers are feeling the sting of a medical mystery. Honeybees are disappearing at an alarming rate. Find out what's killing California bees and how it affects you. Plus, it's a real-life wine and cheese pairing.
We're just a very proud family of everything my dad created.
You know Ernest and Julio. Now meet the other side of the Gallo family, Mike and Peter Gallo. They're the state's largest cheese producers. And
how hot do you like your salsa?
Add a little spice to your backyard by planting a salsa garden. That's next on California Heartland. From your backyard to the back country, in a field or on your family table, it's all about what keeps California moving and growing. This is California Heartland.
Orrin Johnson is a second-generation beekeeper.
I've been called a bee trainer, that funny man that plays with insects.
His fascination with honeybees began at a young age watching his father tend to his bees. After trying out a few other careers, Johnson eventually took over the family business.
My father used to tell me, I laugh about it today when beekeepers talk, he tells me, when you think you're learning about, you know everything about bees, he said, you're just beginning to learn.
And something longtime California beekeepers are beginning to learn, why their bees are mysteriously disappearing. Almost overnight, entire colonies of honeybees have been vanishing from what appeared to be a perfectly healthy hive. The experts call it colony collapse disorder, or CCD.
I don't like fighting an invisible enemy. I don't mind a fair fight, but it gets depressing when you don't know what to do to make them healthy.
It's estimated a quarter of the nation's beekeepers have problems with CCD, problems that are now turning into horror stories.
I know one local beekeeper just recently lost her home because she couldn't pay the bills. She's lost a large percentage of her hives 2 years in a row. I have a friend in the South Valley who lost 90% last year, and he said that's it. He just wrapped it up, sold what he had left, his empty equipment, and gave up beekeeping.
The disease is also of concern for the state's almond industry.
Are you going to do the same as last year on yours, or about you down 10% too?
Probably 10%.
Are you?
Almond farmers like Jim Huddleston of Hughson, California, rely on the honeybees to pollinate their trees. Unlike other crops that can be fertilized by birds, other insects, or even the wind. So how important are the bees?
The bees are very important. Without the bees cross-pollinating different varieties together, because it takes two varieties to pollinate in an orchard to have a crop, we wouldn't have anywhere near the nuts we have.
And as if that didn't sting enough, there's another problem. California beekeepers not only have to worry about the mysterious colony collapse disorder, they also have to worry about people stealing their bees. Thieves are entering orchards in the middle of the night and stealing entire bee hives. That's costing the farmers thousands of dollars.
It's hard to know the total extent. I do know this spring there was several thefts here in California, several around the Central Valley, some right here within probably 10 or 15 miles of where we're sitting right now. In some cases, someone came in, loaded all the beehives onto a truck, gone.
With this swarm of problems, beekeepers have had to raise their rates. Huddleston and other growers are paying 4 times as much for bee pollination. So the bees did their job this year, but it's next year kind of.
Yeah, you always, every year is different. We can have rain and wind and cold weather the bees don't want to fly in, so every year is a unique year.
Johnson's scrambling to get his bees ready. Today, I get to scramble with them. Okay, going into the danger zone, huh?
Yes, we are.
I'm a little scared.
We're living on the edge.
The daily ritual includes carefully inspecting how the hive is developing, applying medication, and feeding the bees if necessary. They look pretty good?
Well, I'm happy right now.
But it doesn't take long before we find an unwelcome guest.
Okay, there's the guy we hate right there. Little brown speck. That's the varroa mite right
That's
there.
the mite.
It'll shorten the 6-week lifespan probably in half. That's the critter we have to keep under control.
And that's where scientists enter the picture. They're busy too, studying bees collected from hives throughout the state, trying to solve the mysterious disease. Eric Musson of UC Davis is one of the leading bee experts in the U.S.
The question is, why are they sick? What's wrong with them? And we haven't been able to put our finger on that yet.
They may not know why, but they do know how.
It appears the disease will start in one area and then just sort of spread through the operation, and then maybe it'll spread to another operation. And that really suggests that there's some kind of a pathogen involved.
Similar diseases have appeared throughout history, beginning in the 1800s, and again in the mid-1960s and 70s.
These peculiar situations have happened before and then gone away. And I guess that's my biggest reason to be optimistic. Maybe we're not looking for the right thing. That's a possibility, and if that's the case, we won't find it. But I would guess that if it's a pathogen or whatever, some of the people out there are going to find it.
That day can't come soon enough for Orrin Johnson, who clearly continues to be fascinated by the little 6-legged insect that has become such an important part of his life and his livelihood.
They're amazing creatures. One day a hive can look sick or starving, and all of a sudden a floral source will bloom with a lot of nectar and pollen, which the bees need. And within a week, that colony can just do miraculous things.
It's the vegetable most gardeners have so much of, they have to give it away by the bagful. We're talking about zucchini. So what better way to make use of it than find creative ways to cook it? This green, warm season squash will grow in nearly any climate in California, and that's why California is the second largest producer of zucchini in the nation. So pick it fresh from the garden or grab a nice firm zuc from the produce aisle and get ready to serve up this low-cal veggie Italian style. Here's lifestyle expert Laura McIntosh bringing it home.
I'm so excited to introduce to you the executive chef from La Vigne, Nash Cognetti. Hi, Nash.
Good to see you.
Thanks
How are you?
for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Speaking of the restaurant, you're the executive chef of really what Napa has always known, Vigne. It's been there forever.
Classic Italian restaurant. In fact, well, we're making Zucchini Tagliatelle.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So the word in Italian, taglia,
Right.
means cut.
Okay.
Right? So what I'm going to do here is kind of use a little artistic freedom, if I might.
Absolutely.
And we're going to make a Zucchini Tagliatelle.
Okay.
And we're going to do that by literally cutting the zucchini with our mandolin into the shape of spaghetti noodles, or tagliatelle noodles.
That's right.
So most important thing when you're using a mandolin, keeping our fingers kind of up and away, and I'm going to use my thumb as my guide here when I slice on the mandolin. So basically what you get then from your mandolin is pasta.
It's pasta. Oh, very good.
Right?
Yeah.
So that's what we've got in our bowl here. So when I cut the garlic for this dish, I'm choosing a slice on the garlic. And the reason why I'm doing this is because I'm going to try to get some color on it in the pan.
Okay.
I'm going to try to get some caramelization on it in the pan.
Okay.
Kind of bring out some of those sweet flavors of the garlic.
Okay.
So when I do this, I'm going to try to slice my garlic absolutely as thinly as possible.
That's paper thin.
Let's get rolling on
Yeah,
some
what do
pasta
we do?
here. I need my
little olive oil.
my lovely olive oil here. And you'll see I got my pan
Nice and hot. That's
right?
smoking hot. Awesome. Okay.
So I'm going to take that garlic that I sliced before and add that to the pan. And you'll see I got that garlic in there, and I'm just going to kind of, get a quick little saute. While that's sauteing, I'm going to add my pine nuts in there too, okay? Pignoli nuts, very popular in Southern Italian cuisine. So before we get anything going, I'm going to add a little bit of chili peppers in there.
Get out! I like that.
Oh yeah. And so what I do with these chili peppers is I take some of the seeds out and I leave some of the seeds in.
I was going to ask.
Because we don't necessarily want it overly spicy. And then I'm going to add a little bit of white wine off the heat.
All right.
Basically what we've done here is we've stopped the cooking process of the garlic.
Right.
So it's not going to brown any longer. So as that wine is almost reduced down, I'm going to take my pasta. And you don't have to boil this pasta. You just add it right raw into the dish like that.
So this is actually a one-pan meal.
Totally,
Yeah,
totally.
yeah.
This is a point where I'm going to season it pretty copiously with salt.
Okay.
I don't really want to cook it all that much.
Right.
Because we want to eat it like pasta, right? How do you eat your pasta?
Al dente.
Al dente, no?
Yeah.
And we're going to go straight to our little plate here.
Okay.
And we'll plate it just like we would plate tagliatelle, which is to say nice little pile in there on the plate.
Oh my God, it looks beautiful.
Que bellissimo. Get all that nice garlic and pine nuts in there.
Oh, that looks fantastic.
And Laura, if you will, you can just shave a little bit of ricotta salata on the top.
Oh, I mean, just one more thing to enhance an already perfect dish. It's beautiful, Nash.
Que bellissimo, huh?
Hi, I'm Cody Stevenson. Let's go see my California Heartland. At my home, I have many responsibilities. The goats, the pheasants, the chickens, and my favorite of all, taking care of the puppies. It's bath time for the little puppies now. It's just a little bit of time consuming. Fleas give the dogs worms, which takes away the nutrients from the puppies. They're AKC registered puppies, which means they're purebred, which means they're a solid lab. I'm a part of the breeding process from start to finish and come out with these gorgeous puppies that we sell for police work and hunting animals and loving family dogs. Breeding puppies is not the easiest job, but it's the most fun. Thank you for being a part of my California Heartland.
Oh, girls, how you doing today?
For Carl Hunter, a trip down to his chicken coop every morning is like a trip down memory lane.
I've got some more corn for you. Yes. I keep chickens here because I've always been fascinated with chickens. Since a little kid, about 4 or 5 years old, I went to my grandfather's farm and got to play with baby chicks. Here now in Los Angeles, I've got enough property that I'm able to have my own chickens again.
But these aren't ordinary hens in Carl's backyard. As if raising chickens in the Hollywood Hills isn't unique enough, take a look at Carl's star-quality exotic fowl.
When I was younger, I just raised common chickens, but now I raise special chickens, all exotics, that I get from exotic chicken hatcheries. Okay, kids, you want to come out and play for a while? Come on, come on. Chick, chick.
And the eggs from these 11 different breeds of exotic creatures typically come in shades of brown, white, even green.
Perfect shape. It's got some little specks on it. That's real pretty, almost like you are. Yeah, thank you. I think the real core reason that I keep chickens is that I just thoroughly enjoy seeing their behavior, seeing their shape, and getting the eggs, and being able to be a caregiver for them.
Carl says the best outcome of his hobby is that he gets new eggs the day they're laid, something that's hard to come by in LA.
Yeah, it's great with having chickens because you get eggs every day most of the time. So we have the freshest eggs in the city.
But since Carl can't eat them all, he enjoys sharing them with others. Carl's charity reaches beyond the chicken coop. Every week, Carl raffles off dozens of colorful cartons at his community church, and the money raised helps to buy food for those in need.
I think that the chicken thing is great fun for Carl, and I certainly don't mind it, but I think where it has become extraordinary is that he wants to be generous. He actually has more chickens than he needs, and he wants to be so generous with the eggs that he brings them, and he started this entire cycle of how the benefit of those eggs go through the food pantry to help other people.
Jojo! Yeah! It feels really good to give, and it makes me want to, even when I'm low on my income or whatever, it makes me just go out of my way and do something nice for somebody else. And with Carl being there and showing, even no matter what happens in life, you can always give.
It's always important to take care of the rest of the people in the world. Well, I love my chickens, I enjoy getting all these eggs, and I can find a useful purpose for them. I'm really happy being able to sell a few eggs, but I really like giving them away.
That ends our raffle for today, folks.
Giving away food, helping others, and especially caring for his pet hens. It's the life Carl says he's always dreamed of having. All packaged in a town that's known for making dreams come true.
I see myself sort of as an urban farmer, hearing the chickens, seeing the things that are farm equipment, and I was thinking, oh, this is the greatest. I love it. I love living up on a hill where I can see everything and I can go to town. I'm in town, right in the city, and I still get to enjoy the country.
Hi, my name is Debbie Asada. I'm with the Dairy Council of California. Today I want to talk about a few of the myths that are out there about dairy. One of those myths is that flavored milk is unhealthy for you. Children and teens seem to love flavored milk. Also, both flavored and unflavored milk provide a nutrient package of potassium, magnesium, vitamin D, and high proteins that are very good for you and are required for optimal health and development. A second myth that I'd like to talk about is that a lot of parents and people tend to think that if you are lactose intolerant, you should stay away from all dairy products completely. And actually, people who are lactose intolerant can enjoy dairy products if they have it in smaller quantities and with meals. Also, yogurt and cheese is a good option. Yogurts have what we call good bacteria in them, and that bacteria is what breaks down the milk sugar, and that's the lactose, so they're tended to be much more tolerable. Everybody needs dairy, so make sure you have your 2 or 3 glasses of dairy each day.
The roots of California's farming families grow deep. This is the heritage of our heartland.
I have a little letter I wrote when I was in 2nd grade where they asked you, what do you want to do when you grow up? And, I said I wanted to work like my dad does on the farm. Hi, Mike Gallo, and I'm 2nd generation here at Joseph Gallo Farms.
He really stood behind his work because our family name was on it, and that meant a lot to him. My name is Peter Gallo. I'm the son of Michael Gallo and the grandson of Joseph Gallo.
We're just a very proud family of everything my dad created. I'm Linda Jelisich, and Joseph Gallo is my dad.
The Gallo family is known for producing great California wine, but this story has nothing to do with grapes. It's all about Gallo cheese and Ernest and Julio's brother, Joe.
Certainly, they were smart to begin with. They always worked hard. They never thought about failure. It never crossed their mind that they could fail.
So, Brother Joe succeeded when he left the family wine business to farm on his own and start a dairy.
We're milking around 17,000. Total herd is about 34,000, including all the calves and bulls and whatnot.
When Joe decided to start a cheese company, he figured it all out on the back of an envelope.
Then he calculated out, he says, what it cost us to divert this milk out of state, we could build a cheese plant. And so we built the cheese plant.
How big a gamble was that for you, Mike?
My dad never looked at it like gambling. He always looked at it like, okay, this is our goal, and we're going to do it. And there was never any doubt in his mind we were going to do it.
No one ever bets against the Gallo family in California's Central Valley. A large Thunderbird, the creature, not the car, is mounted on the front door of the Joseph Gallo home. It's similar to the logo of a Gallo wine. So Linda, this is the family home, huh?
Right, it's my dad and my stepmother's home.
And who designed this thing?
Joseph Esrick, and my dad brought his idea, the rock, Over here? It's all from the Sierra Nevada area. My dad picked them all out by hand.
He picked out every one of these?
Every rock. To bring in light, he would use old wine bottles, so I thought that was pretty clever.
So who do we have here?
It was my dad, my stepmother Pat, and their 6 grandchildren. My dad and my brother Peter, my mother Mary Ann, and my Mike and I. Peter was killed in the Vietnam War. Well, he always wore a wool sport coat, shirt, and a wool tie every day to work, even when he was out on the ranch.
Why is that?
He was just a very dapper person. He just wanted to look distinguished and wanted to look nice.
Joe Gallo passed away in 2007, but not before passing on his business sense and the love of the land to his son, Mike.
From a very early age, you know, my father would wake me up in the morning and say, let's go, and I'd go drive around with him. Just watch what he did, and then it got to the point where, like I say, I would know what he was going to do before he did it.
Mike heads up Joseph Gallo Farms and Joseph Farms Cheese. A lawsuit from the winemaking members of the family stopped the Gallo name from being used on the cheese.
We see each other from time to time, and, you know, we're friendly. We don't socialize together, you know. But they have a big family, I have my family, kind of gone our own way.
The cheese didn't need the Gallo name to be a big seller.
So that's a mix of orange and white cheddar.
And I'm a two-handed cheese eater here.
Yeah, well, that's what I like to see.
Now Peter has decided to follow the path started by his grandfather.
Through his example, he taught us all a lot of things, that it's our responsibility to make things better, the environment and our community for future generations, and to really take pride in our family's legacy.
The Gallo seed for success has been planted in the 3rd generation.
Everyone's a farmer when it comes to their own backyard. Try these tips for doing it homegrown.
Hot weather, hot spicy salsa always seem to go together, and it's this time of year when you can really turn up the heat and create the salsa of your taste by growing your own fresh veggies. California, hot summers, love tomatoes and peppers, and they're easy to grow in the garden or in a container. We're going to create a salsa-themed garden right here in this container. We're going to start with tomatoes. There's no right or wrong here. Just plant tomatoes that you like. Certain tomatoes, though, are going to give you a different character for your salsa. Aroma tomato is going to give you a little meatier texture. It's also going to give you a little saucier style salsa. If you do a Better Boy beefsteak or even an heirloom, you're going to get a little more watery base, but a lot of sweetness, and that's nice. You also want to plant a couple different varieties and stagger the planting time so you have produce all season long. Now let's plant. We're going to take a tomato and plant this in the middle to the back of the container. You can put it just a little bit below the surface level of this potted plant that will grow some roots up along the base of the plant itself. And we're going to plant it toward the back so we have room for other ingredients up front. Now, tomato plants generally grow up, so we're going to need some staking. The reason we want to stake tomatoes is to get good air circulation so we get maximum ripening of the fruit. This particular stake will allow good air circulation and, again, some convective style heating, so we'll get some very sweet tomatoes and support the tomato as it grows up. We've left plenty of room in the container around the front, and that's for our next ingredient, peppers. So how hot do you like your salsa? Well, generally green peppers are not as hot as red, and red is not as hot as orange. So if you want a mild flavor, plant an Anaheim or a bell pepper. A little more bite, you're going to want a jalapeno or a serrano. And you might consider planting habaneros for color and interest, or for the true iron palate. Now it's time to fill it in with a splash of spice, and this is where you're really going to spice up your salsa. Cilantro is a favorite Mexican herb, and this is fabulous in salsa. Grows very easy in our pot. You can also add some onion and some garlic. And now it's time for us to put on the finishing touches to our themed garden. I would finish off your salsa garden with a good organic compost. Peppers will need small doses of fertilizer, while you may need to supplement your tomatoes just a little bit more. And then some water. Make sure these plants don't get stressed, and then let the summer heat do its magic. And once your veggies are ripe, you've got the perfect ingredients for your own salsa. Now it's time to sit back, get some chips, a cool blended drink, and enjoy your own homemade, homegrown salsa.
That's California Heartland. For more information on any of these stories, go to californiaheartland.org. I'm Chris Boros. See you next time.
Get some chips, a cool blended drink, and enjoy your own homemade, homegrown salsa.
To order a copy of this show, visit us online or call 1-888-814-3923. The cost is $14.95 plus shipping. California Heartland is made possible by the James G. Boswell Foundation, committed to sharing the stories and successes of California growers. Bank of America, Bank of Opportunity.
Funding provided in part by the California Farm Bureau Federation, proud publishers of California Country magazine. More information is available at californiacountry.org. And by the Almond Board of California. California almonds, loved around the world, grown in California's heartland. And by Real California Milk. This seal ensures your favorite dairy brands are made exclusively with Real California Milk. More information at realcaliforniamilk.com.